Hello, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Victor once again. It's another day, and we have another scholarship. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you. Where have you been? There are lots of materials already on this channel on fully funded scholarships from around the world. So look around. I'm sure that you'll find something that will catch your interest. And if you're returning, of course, thanks for the constant support. And I hope you get a scholarship sooner than later. So today we're talking about the Commonwealth Scholarship for Masters and PhD. So I think it's important to note that there are a variety of Commonwealth scholarships. You have a number of them. You can see here Commonwealth, this is a master scholarship, this is the shared masters, distance learning, split site, professional fellowships, gender, um, sexuality fellowships. You can see for PhD for low income countries, PhD for high income countries. So the one we'll be looking at today that is presently open is the Masters for low and middle income countries and PhD for low income countries of fragile states. So those are the ones we're looking at today. We're also very popular on this channel for the shared Masters scholarship or the scholarship, the Commonwealth shared scholarship rather. But this is not open yet, so do not worry. It will open soon in the coming months. So just keep tabs on this channel and I would discuss the application process as well. So this is the ones we're looking at, the masters and the PhD. So let's go without any further delay. Just to mention quickly that in the past 2, 3 years, up to 40% of the entire Commonwealth scholarship intake has been from this channel. So we have this tutorial on this channel on how to answer the scholarship questions. There are about over 10 essay questions that you need to answer. So I'll be putting a link to those essay questions in the description box of this video, a link to answering those questions, so how to structure your essays. They've been helpful for the past 3 years, and as I said, 40% of those, usually yearly, of those accepted for the scholarships are often from this channel. So we are like the Commonwealth channel, so to say. So let's begin. So we're going first with the masters and then with the PhD. The applications requirements, by the way, are quite similar, except that for a PhD, you might need like a research proposal or the PhD things, you understand. But for masters, you do not need that. And so let's move forward. For a masters, what do you do? So let's talk about money first. Let's see what it covers. So we'll go to financial assistance. So to water your appetite. So for financial assistance, you get your total airfares covered. So you're not paying for your transport, for your flight tickets, for your visas. You don't pay for anything when you get the scholarship. Your tuition is also fully covered, everything covered. You do not have to move a financial muscle. You also get stipend of over 1,300 per month. And if you're in London, you even get up to 1,600. So that's wonderful. You get warm clothing allowance. You also get like a study grant if you intend to like do field work abroad. And there's also this stipend for those coming with like children and dependents. So if you have like a child, you're a nursing mother, you want to bring your child along, or you're a father, you have a small child you're taking care of, please do so. You will get a stipend for that as well. So this is quite generous. So let's check for the PhD and see whether it's the same. Let's see. So it's quite similar as well. The same amount of money, the same amount of benefits. Yeah, lots of money issues here for dependents. So you could read that quickly on your own and see how much you can get if you're bringing like a child or children, as the case may be. There are more information or more pieces of information provided for PhD applicants for support for children because I feel it's a PhD is longer, so you're staying 3, 4 years, so you might want to bring one or two persons, but the master's is usually just 1 year, so there's not much information about dependents. So just do that on your own, do your due diligence, and read the requirements. Let's begin from the top. At the top, you get the basic information about the rationale behind the scholarship, which is clear. How do you apply? This is very important. The deadline for the master's is the 17th of October. You can quickly check for the PhD as well to see if it is the same. also the 17th of October. So this is where it becomes interesting. So of course you apply here on the application portal, but you also need to apply for the course that you intend to study. So in case you're interested in masters in environmental engineering, you go and through Google or any other means, look for the universities offering those courses and apply for those courses as well. So you apply on this portal, you also apply differently for the courses, for those courses you're interested in on the application portal of the universities offering those courses. And for the Commonwealth, I don't think there's a maximum of the number of applications you can submit. So for instance, if you open this application, you can create as many of these applications as possible for different universities. Usually there's no cap. I don't think there's a maximum number. As many as you can that you're qualified for. However, there is something here I think you need to know, and it's called the nomination agency or the nominating agency. This provision is not there for other scholarships like the Commonwealth shared. For the Commonwealth scholarship, you do not need a nominating agency, but for this one, you do. You might ask, what are nomination agencies? Why do you need them? Usually, they are Ministry of Educations in your country, your home country. And let's talk about countries quickly before we move forward. We talk about countries, and I come back here to nominating agencies. So these are the eligible countries, usually Commonwealth countries. Kind of a fairly long list here. So I can see my country here, Nigeria already. So I'll be using Nigeria for this example. So back to how to apply. And now nominating agencies. Let's look for the nominating agencies in Nigeria. So click on this tab. And now you see the different country flags, and then you look for Nigeria. So this is the nominating agency in Nigeria. The Federal Scholarship Board is in Abuja. There's a telephone number here. There's a website, email address. So what do you do with this information? You have to look for when these guys are nominating candidates for the scholarship. Usually they nominate either before or after the application deadline. So you want to keep an eye on these guys and check their email address, check their website, and see when they're nominating. But while you're keeping an eye on them, remember you still need to apply on this portal. They might delay in their nomination. So you have to keep an eye on this portal and make sure you apply before the deadline. Also, for the university page, there's the courses in the offered in the university. You can always take your time to apply for that one since there's no hard deadline for those ones. So prioritize applying for this one before the deadline. Also keep an eye on the courses you're interested in the different universities, and of course the nominating agencies. It sounds like a lot, but it's doable. Just plan well and you get the gist. So nominating agencies, you can also find some NGOs that also nominate candidates. So check if any of these NGOs are functional in your country. Usually just click on their link and see how they nominate candidates. There are a number of them here. So you click on their link and see how they nominate candidates. You can always send them an email as well to clarify how they nominate their candidates. So kindly do so if you're interested. And I think the PhD as well, the PhD scholarship also requires nominating agencies. But there's an extra layer. It can also be nominated by your university. So if you're a staff in a particular university, you can also be nominated by the university depending on the university you are. You can see Nigeria here. These universities can nominate usually their staff or very high achieving students for this scholarship. So check with your university and see how they nominate the for these awards. So usually in the application form, as I said, you need to submit a number of essays. There is already a video on my channel on how to write these essays. So just scroll down. The essays haven't changed since I made the video 3 years ago. So just go to the home page. Scroll down a little. There is a tab on the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. The essays for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship are the same for the normal Commonwealth PhD or Master's scholarships. There are two videos here, part one, part two. It's quite lengthy because you have over 10 essay questions. And I went through each question and giving examples on how to write attempting those essay questions. So please watch the videos. We already have lots of viewers here. And as I said, almost every year we get up to 40. I think this number should even be increased. Almost every year we get up to 40% of the entire intake. So we have in total close to 60 different or even more awardees from this channel. So let's move on. So choosing university, choosing courses, you can actually do this through Google usually, but you can also go through these sites and filter and find different UK courses. Here, there is no limitation to the course you can choose. So far, it's usually a 1 year course for a master's or a 3 or a 4 year course for a PhD. It's usually fine. You can also see advice for applicants. We've checked eligible countries as well, eligibility for applicants, usually a 2-1. And you might ask, do you need the TOEFL or do you need the IELTS? Usually, the TOEFL or the IELTS should be determined by the university you're applying to. So go to the university page, check what they accept and what they do not accept, check whether they need English language test or not. A number of UK universities would waive English language test if you've already studied the English language in your previous studies. Um, so check for that. Check for that in the respective courses and university pages. So completing the application form. Here you might see 10 publications and get scared. Don't worry. If you do not have a publication, you can always leave that blank. If you check on the form, that particular segment is not compulsory. So if you do not have a publication, do not worry. Many people who got the scholarships never had publications, especially those applying for a master's. So do not worry. So this gives you like a snippet of the things you'll be required in the application form, the things you'll be required to submit in the application form. Selection procedure, tenure and placements. So the courses you can apply for, you can see 1 year taught masters only. I think for a PhD it might be different. Um, Usually for a PhD it's like 3-4 years, I believe. Where is that PhD tab? For a PhD, I think it should be different as well. So check for your PhD and see which is accepted. And it's only full time, by the way. Full time courses, no part time for this scholarship. We've already checked financial assistance, general requirements, and FAQ section as well. So I think the major issue here is how to get nomination. How to get nominated by one of these agencies. What you can do now is to start contacting them as soon as you can, send them emails, phone calls, and things like that to get their nomination while you try to start your application and start putting your essays together. There are lots of essays to write, I must confess. So the sooner you start, the better. So you're not caught unawares. October is not so far away again if we are being honest. So I hope this was useful. Just read through the information. I've made videos on this particular scholarship already. So just check around and get more detailed account of what to do if you're interested in applying. And of course, guys, you cannot wait to celebrate you. Many more videos are coming, whether it's the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, Japan, you just name it. Many more videos are coming. So do well to subscribe if you've not done so already. And I'll see you at the top sooner than later. Bye bye for now.